The legal news for Matt Gaetz over the past few weeks has not been great. There's not as much coming out, but the idea that one of his ex-girlfriends might be cooperating with investigators certainly wasn't good news for him. Now we find out that a story that was sort of alluded to earlier this year was true, and that doesn't look good for him either. That is that conservative media outlet Newsmax, a favorite of Donald Trump, rejected Matt Gaetz's request for a job, a spokesperson for the website said just yesterday. Gaetz contacted Newsmax earlier this year, a source at the outlet said. That was around the time that news broke that he was the subject of a federal investigation into possible sex trafficking of a minor. Apparently it was just a conversation, and Newsmax never told him we were interested in hiring him. So his spokesperson doesn't have anything to say about that, which I can sort of understand. But Anna, Newsmax will take anyone. Like, you don't need to have any skills. I'm not just talking about on camera. Like, have you seen their graphic design? Like, they will take anyone, and they said no to Matt Gaetz.
Well, what I think is pretty interesting is that, rejecting Matt Gaetz, sure, is a fun story, and I'm sure we're gonna dunk on him because how could we not? But aside from that, I think the more important point is the fact that these news shows are willing to publicly defend the bad behavior of people like Matt Gaetz, of the people like Donald Trump, knowing full well that the behavior they're engaging in or the behavior that they allegedly illegally engaged in is a problem and shouldn't be defended. So like for me, this is more of a commentary in regard to, typically I would say right-wing media, but I think I'm seeing it across the board at this point, where there are bad faith arguments made in an effort to get clicks, in an effort to get eyeballs on the show. But when push comes to shove, these individuals who purport to defend the bad behavior actually don't think the bad behavior is worth defending privately. So that's what stands out to me. Just like the grifty nature of media and how it just keeps getting griftier and griftier.
Do you think it's that they don't think it's worth defending, or like, because we hear behind the scenes that most people like in the right, the political establishment, and I guess in the media too, don't really like him. Like he's just not a likable guy. Do you think that might be part of it? That yeah, sure, Trump likes him and they have to pretend to, but like maybe he's just horrible.
I think there's a few things going on. I've also read those reports about how he's an awful guy that people have a tough time getting along with. He's a little bit of an egomaniac and all of that, which to be fair, to want to be in a position of power like that, I guess you do need to have some level of ego. But pushing that aside, I think that there is this effort by conservative commentators to just pay lip service to anyone who is close to Trump, anyone who's friendly with Trump, and by the way, of course, Trump himself. I would argue that if we had like, a liar moment, and these anchors and these conservative news people weren't able to tell lies and had to tell the truth about how they feel about Trump and Gaetz and all of those other people, they would be pretty vicious toward them. Because I know for a fact that even in Congress, Republican lawmakers actually can't stand Trump, but they support him publicly because they're looking out for their own political careers. I think the same is true of conservative media.
Yeah, it's all like Anna and I like each other. Like, I didn't just have her on because I'm like, I don't get more viewers. No, I actually like her, and like the people I don't have on, by the way. Everybody is so inauthentic. Nobody in politics or media gives you anything approaching an actual feeling or thought or preference that they have. It is all so fundamentally fake. Anyway, now I do think it's fair though to allow Matt Gaetz to respond. He hasn't responded to this most recent news. It's probably in his best interest not to because it's too embarrassing. But back in May, he was talking with Newsmax about the allegations, and he said the anonymous allegations against me range from total distortions of, first of all, they're not anonymous. Like your best bud is saying all of this about you. But anyway, from total distortions of my life to these crazy and wild conspiracy theories that will never be proven, but they always come for the fighters. And the idea there is, it's basically the same exact thing that Trump always says. They want to come for you, but I'm standing in the way. I'm a fighter. It's the establishment is scared of me. I'm asking questions that are too tough. They gotta take me out, which is why the DOJ under Trump launched this investigation into you, and you left your Venmo thing open, and your buddy is, well, whatever. Anyway, his theory is that he's one of the fighters. So I decided, let me check in right now this morning to see what he's doing that's asking questions that are a little too close to home for the powerful. He had retweeted a post from the Post Millennial that was talking about social justice warriors wanting to rename some birds. And he said, I can't live in a world too woke for birding. Yeah, I think you're too much of a fighter. I think you're just too focused on the core issues that really strike to the heart of the American establishment. And even the thing that he retweeted, Anna, is so disingenuous. The headline is, social justice warriors say birds are racist, demanding that the experience of bird watching be decolonialized. No, there's like 150 birds that are named after white colonials, many of them slave owners, and they want to rename them. It's the same thing as the statues. But they're like, that's not funny enough. So we have to pretend that they're saying the birds are racist. And him focusing on this is why they're coming for him. Anyway.
Yeah, this is gonna be possibly an unpopular position on it. I think both camps are crazy. Like,
yeah.
Can we please get healthcare? Can we fight on those issues that actually materially benefit people's lives? Higher wages, healthcare. I don't care what birds are named. I'm sorry. And I also think that Matt Gaetz is an awful person who preys on these types of stories to push out his own culture war narrative. And that's all it is. We go round and round and round in culture war circles, and I'm tired of it. So let's stop getting distracted by that stuff. We need to be super focused on fighting for things that genuinely do improve people's lives.
Sure. I think it's some people can focus on other things, I think, but I get what you're saying.
Sure, certainly. I guess birds will like improve people's lives some way, somehow, but I would argue that it's a niche group. I'm just keeping it real. Yeah.
Well, I will agree with you that I don't think Matt Gaetz actually cares about that. Totally. I don't think he does.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.